small steppers, and welcome back to Being Bethany. Now before we get into today's video, please hit the subscribe button, join the community of small steppers, help me get to 50 subscribers. That would be really cool. We're getting there and I'm really appreciating people subscribing and sending me nice messages and stuff. That means the world to me, so thank you very much. Now, I'm in my bedroom today. I've done a couple of videos in my bedroom before, but I am literally sitting in my bed. That's because I'll be really transparent with you guys. I wasn't sure if I was going to make a video today. I wanted to, but I've been struggling a little bit, and is why I wanted to make this video, which is about burnout and being physically and emotionally burnt out, and the self-care tips that you can practice to help you, or things to learn about. And that's because I've been suffering myself with a little bit of that. So I just thought it'd be a good idea to make a video about it, but I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to manage one today, and I decided to just do it, but I couldn't even be bothered to go downstairs. So I hope it's okay that I'm filming from here. I hope the light's not too funky. You can probably hear some cars passing because there's a road behind my garden. So yes, that's what we're going to be talking about today, so let's get started. Okay, so what does the term burnt out mean? What does it mean? Well, it can mean different things to different people, but I'd say it's when you're emotionally and physically overwhelmed. It's when you feel exhausted, extra irritable. I know for me, having anxiety, I can just be easily triggered, even more than usual, and my anxiety is increased. You might have trouble sleeping, and you just don't feel like yourself and like you have the motivation to do things. How do you get to that stage? Well, through lots of different factors of your life: work, home life, illness, or it could be to do with if you're struggling with your sleep, that can then spiral and have an impact on lots of other things. So it can be easy to fall down into the spiral where you're completely burnt out. But luckily, it can be rectified. You just need to look after yourself and prioritise you, and that's what self-care is about. It's about taking the time to help yourself, to heal yourself, and just some time for you. You know, in the busyness of everyday life, it can be really hard to do that. So self-care is about you. It's about taking the time to make sure you're getting everything that you need so you can be the best version of yourself for yourself, but then also for the people around you, family, friends, colleagues, all that jazz. So before we get into different ways that you can practice self-care, I just want to make 2 points before we get started. Now, my first point would be to, if you're feeling run down, know if it's your health or not, or if it's whether your environment is causing you to feel exhausted. Now, what I mean by this is I've been feeling really run down recently, and I have been really irritable. But I checked in with myself and I knew it wasn't quite me. Now, I've been run down before and I've been really burnt out before, and especially when I was suffering with my depression. But to me, this felt different. I felt extremely tired. Now, I'm not very good with my sleep, so I always feel a bit tired each day, and I've made a video actually about my health journey, which I talked about I need to eat better and exercise better, but I knew that this was different. And I was right, because I requested a blood test and I found out that my vitamin D was really low and my iron was really low. Now, in the past, my vitamin D has been quite low before, because I'm quite a home bunny. I like to be inside, so that made sense. But this time my iron was really low, and both the two combined, my doctor did say, will leave you feeling really knackered. So I'm glad that I went and got a test, because now I'm making sure to take extra vitamins, and even more so, I'm conscious about my diet. I'm not perfect. I still haven't really figured it all out yet, but I'm trying. But I just wanted to make that first point, to know within yourself, you know your own body and you know if something isn't right. So just to be cautious, it probably isn't something, and mine isn't really too serious. It makes me feel really, really rubbish. So I'm not invalidating. If you know yourself, you'll know how rubbish that will make you feel. But if something isn't quite right, whether or not you need to get that checked out, I would encourage, just in case. And then my second point is I will be offering lots of different ways that you can practice self-care, but ultimately it's down to you to know what works best. So what I would say is try and implement self-care routines and practices when you're feeling a little bit run down, but so you know for when you're completely burnt out, if that makes sense. And then hopefully if you're practicing them a lot anyway, you won't reach the point where you're completely burnt out because you're prioritising times for you as well. So yes, those are my 2 points. So my top self-care tips, which I think should be at the very beginning for everyone. First one is sleep. Maintaining a good sleep routine is so important. Lack of sleep really affects things like stress, anxiety, energy levels, and without good sleep, it makes a lot of things harder. So if you've got quite a busy work life, if you're not sleeping very well, that's really not going to help you feel like you're achieving all the goals that you need to, or it might mean that you have quite a foggy brain going into work. So sleep. Now, I'll be really honest with you, this is something I really struggle with. But what helps me? A digital detox. Now, I'm really trying to not look at my phone at least an hour before I go to bed. I'm really trying. And I know when I am being not very good with myself, when I'm scrolling or playing like games on my phone and stuff, especially because I've just got a new phone and I could never have games before, so I'm living that up. Things to help you with a sleep routine: digital detox, also making sure you're not eating or drinking too late before bed. This is also something I struggle with. I suffer quite badly from time to time with acid reflux. It's something I used to be on medication for. So if I eat something especially really big and then I'm going to bed like not very long after, that's not going to help me sleep. So making sure I have good time in between eating and sleeping. Also just things to wind down. So I make sure, if you haven't seen my video already, I talk about my bullet journal. So I try and write down everything I want to accomplish for the next day, or any thoughts. I kind of go over what happened today and kind of plan for my next day. That way I'm offloading hopefully the thoughts that are in my head that I know will come and attack me late at night. So writing down and journaling or planning for the next day can be really helpful, and I'm trying to read before bed as well. But be conscious of what you're reading before bed sometimes. I'm trying to do this with like TV and reading and music. I love all that stuff, but I realise how emotionally invested I get in these things. So if I'm reading or watching or listening to something really sad, especially before bed, I'll try not to watch too much stuff before bed, but I realise that that can have a real big impact on me trying to get to sleep. So yes, sleep routine, find out what works for you. Some people like to have a bath before bed, which I've done a few times, and I really actually enjoy that as well because it really relaxes my body. So yes, sleep routine is my first one. Then exercise. Now, if you're completely burnt out, I would encourage you not to fully do the exercise that you might be used to, but to move, to go for walks if you can, if the weather's nice, because I think it's important to rest, and if that means that you need to take a nap in the middle of the day, that's absolutely fine. But from a mental point of view, because I think when you're burnt out, it's physical and it's mental. So I think physically your body needs to rest, but mentally, if you're inside all day, that can also have a detriment to how you're feeling. So rest, take long naps, but then maybe take a walk around the block. Or stretch your body at least. Make sure that your body has had some movement in the day. I'm always conscious of treating the physical and the mental because I suffer with my anxiety and depression as well. I don't want to spiral. So, my next point, good food, healthy food will make you feel better. Might not feel as good in the moment, but it will make you feel better. Yes, please eat some healthy food and then have a chocolate dessert or have a little this, that. Still treat yourself, oh my goodness, especially if we're talking about self-care. However, be mindful that food also impacts how you feel and also impacts how your belly feels and your mood as well. I'm saying this and I'm rubbish at it, so I know that it can be difficult, but all I'm saying is just be mindful of the food that you're eating, because that will also help you feel better. Because I think we have a danger of when people say that they're really run down, if you're not actually ill with, say, a cold or you're being sick or this and that, people might think, well, just get over it. Everyone's tired. But this is different. If you're really run down from work life, home life, school life, then you almost have to treat it that you're trying to make yourself better. And what you would do when you're poorly is give yourself good food and good rest. I think we need to treat being run down as also that you're under the weather. There's no shame in being run down, but just treat yourself. That's what self-care is all about, to make yourself feel better. So I would say sleep, exercise, good food are kind of my top vital ones to make sure that you're always doing, really, but especially when you're run down. Then I just have some suggestions on things that I perhaps like to do, or other things that you might like to do, where you're taking time for yourself, because I think that's really important. And it can be hard, especially I know for people that are working from home and have really high intensity jobs. It can be really hard to find this time for yourself. You're important, you know, and yes, you have lots of other important things in your life, but if you're not looking after yourself, then you can't help the people around you that you care about, and you can't do those things. So I just think it's really important. So like I said before, a digital detox. I think being mindful also in the day, being aware of how often you go on your phone, because I think that can have a real impact on you emotionally. But on the flip side, what I think a phone is good for is talking to your loved ones, making the time to speak to people perhaps that you haven't got to in a while, or family members, checking in with your besties and things like that. I think that's an awesome self-care practice. The people that make you feel good and vice versa, I think that's something really lovely and loving, and I think that's a really good thing to do. So talking to a loved one can be great. Music is a lovely one, and you can combine that with lots of things. You can listen to music and go for a walk, listen to music and have a bath, put some music on and do some colouring, some Lego. So music, I think, is either really good on its own, but also good as a tool to combine with other things. I think be mindful of music and your mood. So for me, I love ballads and things like that, but I've realised now that it's better for me to sing my emotional songs and use that as an emotional release, rather than always listening to them, because I can get very emotionally invested and then I can get a bit sad, which isn't what the point of music is for. A really good song that I've been listening to lately is Sarah Bareilles' Brave. I love it. Now, I love her, and I don't know why I have not heard this song, because it's been around for quite a few years. I love it. It's great and it makes you feel so empowered. So that's my top tip, to put that song on. Reading. I love reading. So I'm always going to say it, but I just think it's awesome. And actually, if you are able to get lost in a book, you realise that your brain has relaxed from the other things that it was trying to nag at you about, and you realise that your body's relaxing, and it's a really restful tool, but one where your mind's still busy because you're imagining the story. So reading, go for it. I love it. Journaling, writing things down, I think is really important in whatever capacity that is, whether that's writing down lists and things like that, whether it's so they're out of your brain, whether it's writing down all your thoughts and feelings. Especially when you're run down, I think it can be really hard to know what's going on, because you're so mentally and physically exhausted. You're like, well, I can't process anything anymore. So once you've rested, I think writing out things that perhaps have upset you, or things that you would like to change, or things that you're also grateful for, just checking in with yourself, reminding yourself of how awesome you are, whether that's writing down some affirmations. I think writing is a really useful tool, and I think we don't use it as much as we should. I'm trying to more. Yeah, sometimes that offloading can help in the recuperation process. And finally, just getting crafty and creative. Now, whether that's colouring, whether that's cooking, whether that's making things. I know I watch a lot of Stacey Solomon's Instagram, and the things that she can make with some, what she calls junk, is just wow. So the things that make you feel happy, make sure that you take the time to do them. I know that's hard to do in a busy lifestyle, but it's important to note to do these self-care tips for yourself so you don't get run down. It's kind of hopefully stopping that process, because if you give and give and give and give yourself especially in lots of different places, you know. I really appreciate the people who are parents and who work and have to fit in, you know, my sisters do it, they have to fit in, I don't know, so many school things, costume days, this, that, and I just want to encourage everyone that not only are you awesome for doing all that, but you are giving to so many people, that just make sure that you're giving back to yourself. You are awesome. You are great and you deserve to be treated like that, and who better to treat yourself like that than yourself, is what I say. So yes, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I just really wanted to say, before I end this video, thank you so much for all the support so far. I've really enjoyed making these videos over the last few months, and yeah, I've been having a great time. But now, what with the holidays coming up, what we're feeling a little bit run down, I think I'm going to take a little Christmas break. So I think that will be a couple of weeks. So I think on my Being Bethany channel, I won't be putting up any videos for a couple of weeks over Christmas. So I'm making sure that I am looking after myself, spending some much needed time with my family. And yes, but I will be back, and probably in the new year. And I might be posting some singing videos during that time on my other channel. But I just wanted to let you know that it's not because I do not enjoy making these videos. I love it, and I love talking about mental health, and hopefully I'm helping you guys, but you guys have helped me very much as well. But yeah, it's Christmas and I just want to, you know, make sure I'm soaking all that up as well. So yes, I want to wish everyone a lovely Christmas, a happy new year. I know this year has been tough, it's been different, it's been difficult, but I hope you can have a lovely Christmas, whoever you are with. And yes, we've got this, guys. I love you all. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. And yes, normally I say have a great week, but have a great few weeks, and I'll see you very soon. Bye. I know, work stress. That's the doorbell. Just need to recover my... I always get puffed out when going down the stairs. It's so silly. I think my burnt out this time. So, and you